Yo, 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 yo. It's your boy, the insurance junkie, your fiduciary fella, the all-star advisor Alonzo Hall, your social media insurance broker. And I've returned today to whap and tap on your head with another ADH wealth solution. Now, today, I actually have a special guest here. This is a young lady that I met online, and she's one of us, okay? And she is something called an enrolled agent, okay? I'd like for you guys, when I bring her up, to make sure that you ain't afraid, because as you know, we're champions and contenders, and we are the champions, right? Because we wipe ass. We work in progress every day and see success, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, share, share, share. Lastly, to contribute to channel growth, or to schedule an appointment with a licensed financial professional, the links are in the description of this video. So I'm not going to have her wait too much longer, ladies and gentlemen, because the information that you guys are going to get here, as you know, anytime you come over here, is a wealth of knowledge. So if you're watching live or on the replay, gang, make sure, and I have her information in the description, that you click on and follow her. Now, the reason that I brought an EA, enrolled agent, as opposed to a CPA, a certified public accountant, is because I tell you guys all the time, when it comes to getting your taxes right, you want to get an enrolled agent. It's just like going to the fucking doctor, right? You go to the doctor, they're a generalist. But if you have a heart condition, they refer you to a heart surgeon, because the heart surgeon deals with hearts, all right? JT, what's going on, brother? Please share this out. I have a wonderful young lady here. Now, you know, you and I are going to be pissed the fuck off because we've been trying to get other black men to do this shit. And it seems like for one reason or another, we can't get black men to step up to the plate. But we're always running around here crying, oh, the black woman this, the black woman that. Well, I got a black woman here. I dare you niggas to say something. So before I bring her up, let's make sure that we are nice to this young lady. Okay, because like I said, she's got nothing but a shit ton of information. You guys know, I tell you all the time, I have relatives who are close in the ayah, the ara, the essa, as we say in the black community, the IRS. All right, but this woman actually can represent you in all 50 states. So, without further ado, here's Miss Candy Curtis. Hey, Miss Curtis, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing outstanding, outstanding. I got to take off this blazer. I'm a little warm right now. Oh, by the way, I got to stunt on niggas because, right, I be, you know, the music you heard, I don't know if you're familiar with a content creator by the name of Kevin Samuels, but he was talking to black men initially. See, I saw your eyes roll. You don't know. Initially, he was talking to black men, and he was talking to a certain level of men, right? So he was talking about men who do shit like I do and buy custom suits. This particular blazer, just the blazer, was $2,000. Right? This ain't got Gucci or nothing across this, right? But this is what he was saying, black men, step your fucking game up, right? And she's gonna help us step our game up in these taxes. No longer are you gonna fall victim to Wall Street trapper telling you, listen, we got all these stocks and shit, because she's gonna tell you the reality. You ain't paying your taxes. You know you got to do a 1099 every time you do those trades and stuff, right? Oh, he didn't tell you that, did he? I'm sorry, I get excited. So I am gonna ask her a few questions about her business and her why. Part of her why is very similar to my why. Right? We look the way we look. And according to statistics from the American College of Financial Services, only 5.9% of licensed financial advisors are black. So what that means is a lot of us are slaves to the game because we're afraid because our licensure doesn't allow us to say certain stuff. So we don't even bring that information back to our community. But I told you, I'm like 25 Cent. I got shot 5 times in front of my mama. I ain't get shot 5 times for no fucking reason. Right? So let me go ahead and start asking you a couple of these here questions. And trust me, Candy, this is home. So however you need to be, you can feel welcome to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I appreciate it.
All right. So before I pull up the questions, anything about us or anything about yourself you want us to know, let us know. And I'm right here with you.
Hey, listen, one thing about me is I'm real. I love home. I like to feel welcome. You know, I'm a professional, but don't let the credential fool you. You know, I was somebody else out there before I got this license, right? So, you know, don't be shy. Ask all the questions you feel necessary. And I'm gonna keep it real with you. Today was my day off, right? So I'm at home relaxing in my bed. Okay. So, you know, you're gonna get real from me every time. I don't know the answer to everything. If I don't know, I'll say, hey, I don't know. Let me get back with you. But what I do know, I don't mind sharing.
All right. So y'all have that. And speaking of sharing, make sure that y'all share this out because this is going to be chock full of information that we really, really need, right? Yes, I threw a little mating, dating, and relationships in there. I took a jab at the brothers because, listen, man, according to Brookings Institute, right? And this ain't me just pulling stats out of my ass or being a simp, right? According to Brookings Institute, the poverty and the racial wealth gap is the fault of black men. Black men in the lower, and I did a whole debate about this. So I did study about this back in 2021, right? But we have black women like Candy, black women like my wife, black women like a lot of them out here who are willing to come and teach brothers. Listen, man, you a street pharmacist, you still need to obey the law. You a barber, you still need to get your shit in order. You need a bookkeeper, this, that, and third.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to start with a couple of questions. Anything you don't want to answer, if you feel uncomfortable, let me know. If I'm talking too much, Lonzo, shut the fuck up. Okay? This is how we get down. Thank you. Yeah, let them know. Share it out. Share it out. And JT, I know you're gonna share it out because I've been coming on your channel the past couple of days and we've been pissed off because we haven't had when we're having these conversations that the black men say we want generational wealth. You know what we get? Crickets. But as
Absolutely.
soon as I say sexy red, she's a 304. I got 500 dudes in there. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're not having it. Kevin Samuels himself, I called into his show one day because he was talking to a specific type of man. So when he was saying, y'all men are up here talking about when y'all talking about these women who are supposed at 8s and 9s and their 3s and 4s. Well, men, y'all ain't even able to say your job title. Y'all ain't even able to have your money up, and you're claiming to be. You ain't no worse than the woman you mad at. So let's get it right, brothers. That's why we're pissed. Me and JT, the underrated darkness.
I can't see. I don't know if they're commenting or why I can't see that on my end.
Don't worry. Any comments I'll pull up for you.
Oh,
Yeah.
Something. The underrated darkness.
Yeah, I just put that comment up there. I'll show you. I'll show you how to use this and everything after.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So I'm gonna start off with question number 1, right? So, and I'm gonna love the answer to this. I think I see. I watched some of your content on the low. I was out there lurking. So let me ask you for the first question. What's your why, or what reason did you start your business?
First of all, I started my business out of necessity, right? Honestly, I've always been a person people come to with financial questions and things like that. So I really legit said, you know what, I'm gonna start charging you motherfuckers for this advice. So that's really why I started my business. And a part of that was because I had been working in the financial services for so long and I saw firsthand the discrimination and racism and things that people of color had to go through. Black folks, we don't get treated fairly. Okay. And I've held positions from working for the office of the CEO for Bank of America to other Fortune 500 companies like Capital One. And so we're never treated the right way. And plus, I'm nosy and I wanted to know how, people amass large amounts of wealth and are able to get away with some of the things that they get away with legally.
Now that's amazing. So you heard that there. They're able to get away with things legally. Give me 1 second. I want to put your channel in the chat so that they can just click on it there and get right to you. 1 second. Candy Curtis, EA. Here we go. Hold on.
Okay.
No, I want her channel. I don't want just the video. Here we go. Tad Step Bay. More. All right, share channel. How do I share channel? Share channel. Copy channel ID. Here we go. Let me put it in the chat so that they can click on it.
Please follow me, y'all. I'm new to this on this platform.
Make sure y'all go give her a follow.
Thank
you. Y'all know I'm persistent, so I'm gonna keep trying to keep going until she's part of the team of 88 Wealth Solutions. All right. So now, well, I guess you already answered, who or what inspired you to start the business. But who has been your biggest supporter in your business?
I will honestly have to say my husband. He's been supporting me from day one. The moment I decided to leave the corporate world, he was like, all right, babe, if you want to do it, I got your back. And so that allowed me the opportunity to grow my businesses many times over because I didn't tell y'all I had to start over a couple of times. But he's been a great supporter, my children, my family, and most of all, my customers that continue to come back year after year after year.
Now, is your husband a black man?
Absolutely.
Oh, hold up. Wait a second, ladies and gentlemen. So you mean to tell me this brother is
babe
is supportive of a black woman? Oh, snap. And she about to bring him up.
That's my husband, y'all. That's my husband.
Mr. Curtis, what's going on, brother? Nice to meet you.
My husband proudly served in the U.S. Navy. He's a veteran.
Oh. Thank you for your service.
Oh, he did. Oh, he said you're welcome. And we've been blessed enough. My husband's been retired since he was 33 years old. He never have to work for anybody again.
Salute, 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 salute. And you hear what she said? Her husband was very supportive of her getting out there and doing the working endeavor. Now, him being the military man, he probably could have said, no, I just want you to be, stay at home. Right? Because a lot of y'all guys, I just want a woman who stays at home. Then when a woman stays at home, oh, you're just a gold digger. So you can't have it both ways, fellas.
Absolutely.
Which way we gonna have it? You see here, the reality is happening in live time. Husbands united, right? Me and my wife, I support her, she supports me. Her and her husband, they support each other because at the end of the day, we are a family unit.
Absolutely.
And that's what we come together for. So what's a challenge that you faced in your business?
Oh my goodness. Oh, can I be candid?
Absolutely.
So the biggest challenge I face, honestly, is people not holding themselves accountable. So usually sometimes it's a money issue. And honestly, what I would say before all of that is the fact that our people oftentimes want something for nothing. They want all of the answers to their questions, but a lot of the times they're not willing to do the work that's required to get the result. That's the biggest thing. They say they want it, but they don't really want it. Because if they wanted it truthfully, they would do whatever it takes to get it done.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. I'm not understanding. Yeah, I don't know why it's not coming up to click the hyperlink for your channel. I put it in the chat multitudes of times. I'll figure it out.
Okay.
We'll make sure that my audience is pretty loyal. They're all contenders and champions, mostly champions. And as you guys know, shout out to Prince Pierre, put the damn championship on the table, right? A lot of the men who are over here, they might call us blue pill simps because we stomp down. We don't play that shit, right?
Right.
And, the reason why, I can tell you, I was a where's my hug at ass nigga. That's what I call these dudes from, the red pill. I called them where's my hug at ass niggas. Well, in high school, I was a where's my hug at ass nigga too. So I understand what they're mad at. But I'm 40. I've grown the fuck up, got married, and man the fuck up. So we can do the same thing, y'all.
Absolutely.
Now, my next question would say, so now what sets you or your company apart from others in your industry?
Well, first of all, less than 7% of enrolled agents are Black people, right? First of all, you got to pass that exam. You got to be able to pass that exam, and it only has a 30% pass rate. And so there's not many of us out there that's willing to share the information. And then even in comparison to some of the larger companies, yeah, they have the budget to spend, $1 million a month on marketing. We don't have that, right? But it also gives us an opportunity to be more intimate with our customer base and be selective of who I accept as clients. Yeah, it's 3 parts to the exam.
It's called Candy Curtis EA is her channel. And yes, hey Coco Tina, how you doing? Yeah, she said 3 parts to the exam. I'm sorry.
And listen, I failed. I believe in full transparency. I failed 2 parts, 1 time each. I started with a group of 7 girls. I was like, come on, y'all, let's go become EAs. Let's do this together. And only 2 of us made it out. Okay. Everybody else dropped out. It's no punk. Let me just say that. It's no punk.
No punk. Okay. So that exam is not easy. Ironically enough, I have my P10 too. That's why when you was talking, I was like, oh, I said, I want to go for my EA. There's some reasons that I'm not going for my EA as well, kind of because, I don't want to have no conflict in the house.
Right.
So I just stay. 1 second. I'll bring it up. Underrated. I'll make sure, if anything, I'll text it to you. We got our numbers and everything. So I'll make sure you get it, brother. You see the brother, he's like, yo, it's not coming up. It's not coming up. He's mad because he wants to follow you right now. This is how loyal my people are. You're going to get some subscribers from this.
Okay.
So don't, Coco Tina, if you could follow her too. Again, Candy Curtis EA, Tax Debt Bay. Type in tax. Okay, here it is. Here we go. Tax Debt Bay. Try that. Try that at Tax Debt Bay. Right? And you should be able to find her in that manner. I know he's looking because he keeps saying it's not coming up. It's not coming up.
I'm working on getting more content out there. I'm in a process of pivoting my practice, y'all. So normally I would do more tax preparation work, but I'm pivoting more towards tax debt resolution, because that's what my license allows. And tax preparation is kind of, I know that like the back of my hand already. Is more complicated things that excite me when it comes to tax debt resolution. So that's where I'm pivoting to. But I can handle any type of tax prep matter as well.
Exactly. Give me 1 second. I'm just pulling up the rest of the questions here.
Mm-hmm.
So, who do you turn to for business advice or help?
I have a couple of mentors in the industry that I turn to, but I'm a self learner now. I mean, as far as the EA goes, we have a crap ton of CPE that we have to maintain. Um, and I go to seminars and things like that. But usually it's someone who's been in the industry 20 plus years who have a lot of experience. But there's not really, like mentors or things like that, because like I mentioned before, it's not many of us in this industry as it is already. Very few trusted individuals. The same thing, crabs in the barrel mentality. So I have just a couple of people who I can rely on for trusted advice that I would, that I trust.
Okay. And Coco Tina says here 990 and 5500 prep too. I'm not sure what that is. I'm not a
Yeah,
tax advisor.
yeah.
So, yeah. So now y'all speaking foreign language to me. This is weird. No, listen, let me tell you how weird this is, because everybody comes to me for the financial stuff, so they think I know it all.
Yeah.
And usually I do, but now y'all talking over my head, so this is real exciting.
People all the time, I'm not a financial advisor and I am not a CPA. But when it comes to taxes, I got you. I got you when it comes to taxes. I stay in my lane.
Got you. See, now I might, and here's why I'm gonna show you something real quick. This is why I want to entice someone like yourself to get back into this industry. Because with the skills that you have, I actually have a young lady who I went to high school with who's an EA as well. And these are the type of policies I write. So,
I can't do that. Remember, I'm on the cell phone.
Okay, let me make it a little bigger. Hold on, let me see how big this is on StreamYard. Right, so that's an annual premium of $48,000. At a normal 50% rate, that's a $24,000 check. I'm substantially higher than 50%. But this is the type of work that people like you and people with your talent are very eligible or able to do. All right, I'm gonna take that off of there now. I just wanted to show you that.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the type of, and working with a nigga like me, that's the type of stuff that I try to have my team do. Right now,
I know what what they looking like. I know what they looking like.
Nothing wrong with them small policies neither, because the small policies keep the lights on, right? Them $20-$50 a month. But those chargebacks do get annoying. Plus, those are the people who have question. I'd be like, yo, you say this dude paid 50 grand, man. You paid $50. Slow down.
Right.
But the reason that I don't mind accepting those questions, and I have a feeling you're the same way, but that's why you started a business. By the way, I do charge a $300 fee to sit down with me. Because of that, people wasting time. Usually when they spend that fee, I give it back to them to put on their premium. I'm like, here, take this back, put it on your policy. I'll get the commission from the policy. This is just to make sure you don't waste neither one of our time. But let me get back to them questions for you. But sure. I'm loving this, by the way, because we're going to have to do so much more of these, because I don't know how much time you got, but once I'm done with these questions, the floor is yours.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Okay. So what's your goal for your business?
Well, because I work in full transparency. As I mentioned a few moments ago, my goal right now is to pivot more into tax debt resolution.
Mhm.
I've been able to build a seven-figure tax preparation firm, and I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not really exciting to me anymore. It's
Mm.
not. It's to me, yeah, money is great. I'm not gonna say I love money, but it has done some wonders for myself and for my family. But I like more complicated and more complex things. So I'm pivoting to tax debt resolution, and that's my goal. Right, I hit seven figures in 2020. Right, so it can be done. I've done it, seen it, been there. Whoop de doo. It's time to go on to something, something a little different.
Definitely.
So that's my ultimate goal.
Okay. And now, do you have an exit strategy for your business?
So my plan is I'm probably gonna work until I'm tired, to be honest with you, because this is my passion.
Ooh.
And like I mentioned, I would do it even if I had to do it for free. My exit strategy is real estate. Oh, thank you so much.
You
My
much.
exit
See, I told you we're gonna make sure to follow you.
Yes, thank you. So my exit strategy is real estate. I didn't mention it to you all, but I'm also a real estate investor as well. And my husband and we own six properties, and we buy and hold. But in this market, I literally a month or so ago listed all of my properties. So that's going to be my exit strategy to carry me um through my retirement is going to be real estate.
Okay. Wonderful, wonderful. And let's see here. So now, how do you prepare? Blah, 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 blah. How do you prepare for emergencies in your business?
What kind of emergencies? Financial emergencies?
Um, I didn't really specify, but just there's a dumpster fire. Something comes up, and maybe it's a last minute client who owes a couple of $100,000 in taxes and wants you to do it right now, and it's his emergency don't constitute to your emergency.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what I'm going to tell them. Hey, an emergency on your part does not constitute one on mine, but we can get together. We can come up with a reasonable resolution because I work well under pressure, but I do not like being told what to do. I became my own boss, and I
Mm,
run my own business because I am the person in charge, right? And so but if there's an emergency, situation or something comes up, I do have staff, but most of my customers have my personal cell phone number, right? So if there's something that they truly need, which that really doesn't happen. I haven't had a situation where there's an emergency situation that couldn't wait, right? But if something like that were to happen, they could just, if they're a client, they can just text me up. I'm usually available, and if I'm not, I'll make time. I'll let when my availability is.
cool,
We
cool,
don't
cool.
have, most of the time, listen, when it comes to um things like a levy, for example, or a lien or something along those lines,
Mhm.
it's not really an emergency because it's something you've known about for months, if not years, right? So I'm not going to get myself all worked up and have an anxiety,
Mhm.
right? um for something that you didn't take care of on your part. We'll resolve it, but we're not gonna have any stressful situations.
Yeah, so she says first they need to make sure that they have all the financial paperwork together. So that makes sense. Yeah, the client. I have a situation right now where I have a client who's pulling about 1 million a year, and his accountant is 50 Cent's accountant, and he doesn't understand why he keeps owing. Now I introduced him to a CPA, and the CPA charge an astronomical amount.
Hmm.
Um, and hence why he's still with the other CPA that he's dealing with, which it don't look like him, right?
So here's
Or 50 Cent.
the thing: a CPA, and this is the main difference. And you mentioned this earlier on. A CPA is an accountant. Not all CPAs are tax experts. That is the difference. Most CPAs don't enjoy doing tax returns at all. They'll do it. They'll do it for compensation, but they're not going to, break their back or bend over backwards for your tax situation. You need to have a tax strategist, right? And you also need to remember that tax time is not the time to resolve your tax concerns. You have to
Mm.
put a year or 2 years ahead for tax planning, right? It's not something to do at tax time. If the individual knows they're pulling in a million plus a year, or they anticipate that they're going to make a million, they need to be talking to a tax planner, a tax strategist. And some of the tax strategies cost money to even get access to. It's some wild, it's some crazy stuff that even when I came across it, I was like, so this is what they're doing, right? And then to get the intricate details, some of those classes cost $25,000-$30,000 a pop,
Mm-hmm.
right? So now, if he's paying a CPA an astronomical amount of money but not getting the results, I'm curious to know what exactly is he paying for. Is he paying for accounting services, bookkeeping? Because I wouldn't expect the CPA to do tax planning. He may have the
Mm.
professional. He may not have the right person on his team. His CPA should be doing his books. If that's the case, if they do a good job doing the books, they should work on the books. And then he sees a tax strategist or planner, or not. Or if he says, I want to, like, maybe we can get on a payment plan, do an offer and compromise, or an installment agreement. You got
So just to go a little further, so when he got introduced to me,
mhm.
his tax debt was 147K, and he was beyond being able to have an offer and compromise. You can kind of figure out how I found that out. But I literally asked the source, and they were like, no, if he got that letter, he's beyond. He got to pay them people at this point, or he's going down. And then his CPA said the same thing. So he paid the 150,000, and then the following year he owed 84,000. Um, so now I have him in a situation where he probably shouldn't be owing anymore.
Okay.
Um, I use some tax strategies, obviously through insurance and investments,
Hmm.
that are, tax deferral, or tax avoidance, if he does kind of what we've broken down the plan to be. His CPA was like, don't get life insurance, put it into this investment where you'll get 10%. Wrong. First of all, you can't guarantee that he'll get anything in an investment. Second of all, what about 2 and 20 fees? See, people never talk about 2 and 20 fees. 2% of your net worth, 20% of your capital gains, regardless of if this investment does good or not.
Capital gain is you tax, and I'm all for using legal tax strategies, right? We want to be careful with using certain words, right,
Mhm.
especially to protect our license, right? But out in the general public, they'll call them a tax shelter, right? The
Mhm.
IRS, they don't really like that word, okay? um, but there are definitely tax strategies. Life insurance is one of them that you can use to um shelter your income, right? The legal way, as long as it's done the correct way. As long as it's done the correct way. And, you have to have the right person who can be able to represent you if the IRS has questions about it. A
Mhm.
lot of times people, they get into an investment, or they go to a tax preparer who is inexperienced, and they're not even able to represent them later on if the IRS has a question about it.
Mm. See, now that's that day. I think her phone might be ringing. Okay, your phone was ringing.
Who,
You
me?
froze. Yeah, you
No.
froze for a second, so I thought your phone was ringing.
Oh no, I was done. I was done. I was
Okay.
done. That's what I was just saying. I was just saying, people, uh is a couple of different ways to go. You can legally avoid taxes as long as you're not evading. That's something totally different. So avoiding is legal. Evasion is not.
Mm-hmm. And she says unless they use AFSA tax pro, I don't know what that is.
Annual filing season tax pros, but they can only represent that particular tax year, and they can only call. They don't have full representation rights.
Gotcha.
got that certificate. I went straight for EA.
No problem, underrated. He's saying thank you. He's appreciative that you're up here.
Oh,
So I got about 2 or 3 more questions.
okay.
So what does the phrase "do you work in your business or on your business" mean to you, and which one do you do?
Both, right? So because I'm reachable at this point, right? At this point where my business is, I'm still reachable to my customers, and every day I'm always growing. I'm always, innovating. Like now, I'm doing this podcast. I asked you, hey, I need to learn how to get on YouTube. You introduced me, and I was like, I don't do YouTube, so I'm always, growing. And as I mentioned, I'm reachable to my customers majority of the time, but I do also have staff, right? Because the truth of the matter is I know I'm that girl, right? And what God laid in my brain, nobody else will be able to execute it like me. And though I know how to delegate things, I'm the originator. I'm the planner, so I have to be active in it. And plus, I just really love my customers too. So I never want to feel like I'm so big that I'm unreachable to people. So I work in and on my business all the time. Right now, I'm revamping my website. Right, I was just talking to my web developer, and I was like, "Bro, you got a typo in my website." So,
Mm,
it's always evolving. So it never ends.
gotcha. All right. So now, couple more questions.
Sure.
What is your favorite part of having your business?
Um. Honestly, it's the freedom. It's the freedom that I'm able to have. I don't have to work for anyone besides my customers. Y'all heard me mention that I don't like being told what to do, right? You can guide me, but don't tell me what to do. And I love being independent, and I love the challenge, right? Because I'm no punk, right? I love that I'm able to challenge authority. I love to
Mm,
tell people, um, when they're wrong, and I can prove it, right? Because it's one thing to tell somebody, especially the government, right, that they're wrong, an employee of the government, but they make mistakes all the time, and I love to point those out.
mhm.
I love to point them out. You said one thing, but I know I'm carrying on. And I also love to advocate for taxpayers, right? Because I already know we're treated unfairly, right? So if I can be the voice for the unheard, I'm going to do that.
Mm, I love it. Don't worry about carrying on this. Listen, when I get on people's channels, I do what's called hijack their channel, right? And no matter what they talking about, I flip it to my topic. So don't don't worry.
That's
Coco Tina says here, in taxes, having proof is key.
absolutely.
Mhm. So now let's see. Last question. So now, what advice would you give to someone looking to start a business?
Oh, that's a great question. Make sure your foundation is right. Before y'all go out here starting these businesses all willy-nilly, do
Mm,
your research, do your due diligence, right? I talk about this on my other platform a lot. A lot of people, we have these grand ideas, and they are beautiful ideas that can flourish, prayerfully into million-dollar, multi-million dollar companies. But I have also seen multi-million dollar companies crumble because they lacked the basic necessities, the basic foundation, the basic building blocks, something as simple as bookkeeping. You don't have a balance sheet, but you made $1 million, right?
mhm.
So have a team. Even if you have to be just you and one other person. When you're starting your business, you got to remember, if you are trying to do everything on your own, that's less things being done. Y'all
Mhm.
feel what I'm saying? If you're trying to do everything on your own, that means something is not getting done. So
Yep.
if you're trying to do your bookkeeping, or if you're out marketing your business, for example, that means that you're not able to package your product, right? So
Mhm.
where you can delegate, even if you start off, with a very small team, get a cousin, a niece, a nephew to help you do things. Like my daughter,
Mhm.
she's really good at doing intros and outros. She charged people $10 to do that, right? So
Mhm.
I can use her services to help me build up my YouTube or whatever. use the people around you that can help you. Don't think that you have to do everything on your own. Don't think that, because some a step is going to get missed somewhere, and then you end up having to start all over again.
Absolutely.
And that's happened to me, and I'm speaking from experience.
She's speaking from experience. So I want to bring up a couple of things, again, in the life insurance world that are related to, he says, you got,
make it a family.
She got to come on my channel soon.
I'll come, just let me know.
He will reach out, and you will be on the Underrated Darkness. And we all keep it very real around here. So, you found a new home. Like I say to people all the time, I curse, I spit, I listen to gangster rap. So when I drop an F-bomb, what's worse, the F-bomb or the conditions you leave your family with? People are always silent when I say that, because they're like, well, I guess I did leave my family kind of fucked up, huh? Yeah.
Listen, that's one thing I love about social media, is because I can be myself. I don't have to code switch. That's why I left the corporate world. When I talk to y'all, I'm talking to my family, right? I'm just a family member that you got to pay, right? But I'm talking to my family, and you're not going to get me talking over your head, terminology that you don't understand. Hell, some of the stuff I don't understand, I got to go ask somebody, right? So it's perfectly okay with me, and I don't mind it. It's a certain level of professionalism. I'm definitely professional. I'm great at doing my job, but I'm not a fake and phony person. I see a lot of people, they get on social media, they look like they have it all together, honey, but you ask them to show their bank account what their true balance is, and they clam up, they block you, they delete you off the page, right? That's not the case over here. That's not the case over.
Yeah, it's full transparency. And this is why when I saw her, I immediately was like, oh, kindred spirit, because like you said, Underrated, real over here, right? So, I am completely like, it's not all buttoned up all the time. Yes, you might see me, one of the things I generally require from the men, listen, we got to do, a blazer, maybe a suit and tie, a collared shirt. That's just to put a better image, right? Because I already said, with especially with, a lot of these 40-year-old men running around complaining, but a lot of these 40-year-old men are running around with a graphic t-shirt. So you can't tell if he's 20 or 40, because he looked like dressing like the 20-year-old, except he got gray hair. Right? So how you expect a woman to take you serious when you're trying to look like the 22-year-old, bro? We got to step our game up. That's where you'll see the suit and tie. But like I said, around here, I'm going to curse, spit, listen to gangster rap, smoke, all that. Right? But when it comes time for me to do the task that I am tasked with, oh, baby, you best believe you're going to get it all. And it's going to be uber perfect. You're going to be like, man, I should have went to this cursing, spitting dude in the first place. Right? So let me see if I can share my screen really quick. I want to bring up just a couple of tax codes that are related to insurance. That what I want y'all to start doing is, oh, hold on, I just took us down. Hold on. What I want y'all to start doing as a people, and now I have an EA here with me, right? So this is someone who specializes in taxes. By the way, y'all, we're not giving specific financial advice today or specific tax advice. We're just giving you information. Like I always tell you, don't believe me, go Google it. But what do I tell you guys in my series? The right questions, know what to ask. You can't Google it unless you know what to ask. Because if you go to Google and you say, is this, it might say, yeah, this is this, but you've asked the wrong question. So you're going to get an answer that is not accurate to what you've asked, right? So,
let me make this disclosure. You already said it, but let me make sure I say it. This is not legal advice, okay? All right? I do not represent you. All right, now if you want to retain me for any service that you may need, if you owe the IRS, if you got back taxes, if you're ducking and dodging, you can holler at me then. But this is not legal advice. And I wouldn't consider this like a consultation either, right?
Right.
If you all want to book a one-on-one consultation, or if you have specific questions as it relates to tax, y'all have to book a consultation, because what applies to you may not apply to the next person.
Thank God. I am so glad you just said that, because one of the things, I'm sure you see it all over TikTok, it's all over here on YouTube, everywhere. You'll have these financial guys who are only buy term investor S. Terrible advice because it's too blanket. Only buy whole life. Terrible advice because it's too blanket. Only buy IUL. Terrible advice because it's too blanket. Now,
So that's where you and I connect. That's where you and I connected, because you said I don't really like whole life, and because I was saying, I said I think you should have a term policy and a whole life policy. That's just my opinion, but I'm also not a life insurance expert either. Whereas you are, is just my opinion, and everyone's situation is unique. You may have one person, in simple terms, they get a refund every year on their tax return, because they paid 3 times as much as you did in federal tax, but you may not have paid any, right? So you can't. The results vary from person to person.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you said that. So yeah, you'll get a lot of these financial people who will say things like this. And one of the, like, I'm a permanent insurance fan. My favorite product is an index universal life insurance policy. However, just like you said, I'm licensed, right? So I don't product push, right? So for some of my clients, right, who can afford tens of thousands of dollars a year, the IUL is the way to go. For some of my clients who can't afford tens of thousands of dollars a year or hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, the IUL may not be the best bet, because you can't put, 50, 60, 70, $100,000 a year into this life insurance policy. So you're not going to be able to take advantage of, like, the infinite banking and all that stuff, right? Do those concepts work? Yes. However, they cost money, right? So I also am not a fan of term life insurance because it's bought the wrong way. What happens is, and this is shit. I'm talking about the Black community. It's brought the wrong way in the Black community. We think, well, listen, like, prime example, that's one that I showed you, with $48,000 of annual premium. He's overpaying. $48,000 will get a 45-year-old man substantially more than $2 million of death benefit. He's overpaying into that policy intentionally because of the conversation we had, right? So he knows he's overpaying for the policy. His intent is to overpay. It's called overfunding.
Strategy.
Yeah, it's a strategy, right? So then somebody else you're overpaying for this policy. I can get you $7 million for that $48,000. Well, if he just wants death benefit, then sure. But he's taking advantage of a tax break for his S corp, which is something called a 162 executive bonus. So when these people tell you, I don't care if they're me, and like I said, I'm going to tell you whatever product is best for you, and we have to have a consult in order for us to do that. Just like Candy said, listen, what's good for you ain't good for me, right? I've used this example with, I'm diabetic, right? I have type 2 diabetes. I'm on insulin. My grandmother is diabetic too. We have the same PCP. But if that PCP were to prescribe my grandmother to take the amount of units of insulin that I take, my grandmother would die, because my grandmother is on pills. And her diabetes ain't the same as mine, even though diabetes is the same thing. Right? So life insurance and investments, retirement is not the same for anyone. Right? So one thing you want to ask these insurance guys or these investment guys, what is IRC 7702? So I am going to show you guys via Google. Here we go. IRC 7702. So what is IRC 7702? Right? So Section 7702 is a crucial part of the IRS tax code because it defines which cash value life insurance policies qualify for tax advantages, right? So now, one of the things, insurance, investment, and taxes all vary based on the individual. Very true, Coco. So one of the things that, for example, with IRC 7702 is something called a MEC, or a modified endowment contract, which now changes the taxable treatment of your life insurance policy. So now your life insurance is no longer treated like a tax deferred vehicle. It's more treated like a retirement account, like an IRA, right? And then there become maximums that you can stuff in there. The reason that IRC 7702 came out is because of what is TAMRA in life insurance, TAMRA 7Pay. So back in the day, back in the 1980s, people like Donald Trump were stuffing thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars into life insurance and not paying taxes, taking the money out tax-free and spending it without paying taxes. So they created something called TAMRA 7Pay. So if you pay into a policy that has a, let's see, yeah, so generally if a policy has a MEC limit of $4,000, paying $6,000 in the third year would cause the policy to fail the test and become a MEC, or a modified endowment contract. Let's see, Rolando. Hey, Alonzo, here, wanted to, later if you can send in an email. I do have life insurance with NLG, so let me know you good to be here. Rolando, so NLG is a pretty good company, right? You'll never really hear me bashing a company except for Primerica.
Oh!
Yeah. Anything else?
Hold on, wait 1 second. When you say that, I have to ask this question. What do you think about, what's their slogan? Buy term and invest the rest.
Buy term, invest the rest.
What do you think about that? What, like, be real, be real. What do you think of that?
Shit, we on my chat. I think it's bullshit, right? Realistically. Because most people don't buy term and invest the rest. Number one. Number two, to be honest, the minimum amount of investment is generally there's a barrier to entry, right? So I used to be a stockbroker at a firm called EJ Sterling, which was, ironically enough, they got in a whole bunch of trouble for doing a bunch of illegal shit. But the minimum you can actually invest is $10,000. It was $834 a month. So if somebody has a difficulty paying $200, $300, $400, $500 a month on life insurance, and I don't care if it's permanent or term, they have no business investing. The other thing they'll do is have you put $25 a month into a mutual fund. While it is true you can put that small amount of money into a mutual fund, you have to understand that these products work where you see those interest rates and shit that they show you, and I'm not going to just say it, I'm going to show it. So, because I'm a show and prove type person, right? So I'm going to bring you guys to Bankrate. We're not even going to worry about this. We're going to go to bankrate.com, high yield savings account rates, right? I just want you guys to see this, right? So let's go to Bankrate, right? So best savings, high yield savings account, right? Because they show you savings accounts and mutual funds. Wait, it's higher. What's that deposit? Did you see me type anything? No. What does that deposit amount say? $50,000. So if you ain't putting $25,000 or $50,000 into these things off rip, you're not going to realize any of this interest that they're telling you. This 4.64%, you don't realize that until you have a balance of $50,000. Yes, you can start your account with $0. And hey, I have an account with Vanguard. I have an account with Fidelity. Cool. You know what else you can do? I have a homeboy who sells cocaine. He sells kilos. If you go to that nigga and say, hey, here's $50. I want a gram of cocaine. He'll take that $50 and give you a bag of salt. It's no skin off his back. That $50 is now for him to go fucking give his daughter something. Right? So there's a barrier to entry. Mutual funds, generally, their average amount is $25,000. So when they tell you to put $25 a month away, you need to put that $25 a month away for 1,000 months. Just for clarity, 360 months is 30 fucking years. Right? So the shit sounds nice, but in reality, it doesn't work. Now, on to that, actually, I'm gonna give you one more because there's hold on, let me add this back to the stage. So there's one more thing. I'm gonna go to Google here, right? And I want you to see now in defense of term life insurance, because it's very important that you do get term life insurance, and I'll explain that why after. But in defense of term life insurance, because I'm about to show you guys something and you're going to hate term life insurance. In defense of term life insurance, the insurance industry as a whole, life insurance only pays out about 26 to 30% of the time. Okay? There's reasons for that. And a large reason for that is because of term life insurance. Yes, am I too loud? My wife is working from home today.
Ooh.
I want to make sure, I get in here, I get passionate, I get the creaming and screaming and cursing and all that. And, she works, where she works. I'm not going to say it on here, but, you can't. So, Coco Tina, I thought that was it too. I thought, oh, people just outlive their term policy. Here's the problem. And here's why I like permanent insurance, whether it's whole life or indexed universal life or universal life. I don't really like traditional universal life. I like indexed universal life, and I also don't like variable universal life. Yeah, so they don't outlive the term either. Watch this, right? I'm going to go to Google. What percent of life insurance policies pay out? So 5.2%. There's a study. I'm trying to see the study from, okay, what percent of term life policies pay out? Let's see. 99% of all term life policies never pay out. Y'all see that? From the zebra. Right? That's not me. That's from the zebra. Right? So, world life insurance statistics. Should I buy life insurance? And then see, like this, they tell you it's not recommended for those who are young and have lower incomes. So, Rolando, I couldn't tell you that. There's a whole host of factors. So, number one, life insurance is not paid for with money. It's paid for with age and health. Okay? The younger you are, the cheaper it is. The healthier you are, the cheaper it is. Prime example, I have a client who is a firefighter. He applied for a $750,000 term insurance policy, and that premium, he was 41 years old at the time, that premium was $125 a month. When he went through the health exam, we found out, hey, you're healthier than a motherfucker. So we decreased his premium by $30 a month for the same death benefit. So there's a lot of factors that go into your paying for your policy. You guys don't get me started because I will pull up my illustration software and do an illustration live time with y'all. I'm one of them. I'm not the motherfuckers who bring up a fucking chart and bullshit you. And let me give you a wrench over here, Rolando. Give me a second.
So, which policy is it that typically requires an exam? What do you think about exam versus no exam policies?
I prefer exam policies. And the reason why is you're gonna get the best rates with an exam policy. Because at the end of the day, you got to understand there's two things that you're buying when you're buying life insurance. One, you borrow money from somebody, right? Because you're going to die. I don't know nobody who's made it out of life alive. Do you? Right? So it's a guarantee. Everybody on earth gonna die one day. Right? So they know they have to pay out eventually. So when they don't do exams, they actually put that into the pricing. Okay? The less underwriting they do, just like with a mortgage, if you got no underwriting on a mortgage, they're going to give you a hella high interest rate. Right? So it's the same thing with insurance. If you don't take an exam, you can get up to $2 million of death benefit with no exam. Right? But they are going to do something called, they're going to look into the MIB, Medical Information Bureau. They're going to look into your credit history because they do check your credit, right? Your driving history, your criminal history, your family health history, your prescription history.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they'll check those, and the less underwriting, the more apt you are to not get approved for a policy, right? My client went through full underwriting. Had he gone through a no underwriting program, he would have got approved for that $750,000 policy at $125 a month. Probably more, because they're going to charge you a little more because they're taking more risks and they're not underwriting you as in depth. So they don't know. You might have had cancer or something. They don't know. So it might come into remission and they're on the hook for that $1 million or whatever it is.
Do you do cancer policies too?
So you're talking about critical illness?
Yeah, cancer policy, critical illness. Do you offer those as well?
So I trying to think. I have a bunch of carriers. So critical illness, my opinion on a lot of those policies, I do have a carrier that offers them. I don't sell a lot of those, and I'll tell you why. Generally, a permanent life insurance policy has something called living benefits, right? So things like critical illness policies are just another way for an insurance agent to get more money off of you. Now, you have to have a conversation with your financial professional, because, for example, if you're a person who, like, I have a client who has cancer that runs in his family. So I was like, well, then it makes sense to get a critical illness policy, because critical illness runs in your family. If it's not something that runs in your family, or, then you can kind of get away with just the living benefits on a life insurance policy. Mm-hmm. So living benefits on a life insurance policy, you have terminal illness, which will cover you for, excuse me, I got gas, up to 75% of the death benefit, tax-free. But you have to be told by a medical professional that you will live 12 months or less. Mm-hmm. Then you have, sorry?
And then it pays out at 75%, right?
They will give you 75% of the death benefit tax-free. You'll still have some, so let's say you got $100,000 policy. They give you 75 grand cash, tax-free, and then the other 25,000 is there for a death benefit. Mm-hmm. Okay. They also have something called chronic illness, right? Terminal critical illness, which means you can't perform 2 activities of daily living, right? So that's eating, toileting, bathing, going to the bathroom, things like that. If you can't do that by yourself, they will actually, generally, you'll be going to like a rehab facility for that, so you can learn how to walk again or whatever, right? The insurance company will pay up to, I say up to, just like the 75%, I have to say up to, because they might not give you the whole 75%, right? That's why I say up to 50% of the death benefit tax-free, right? And then you've got a chronic illness. So this is things like end-stage renal failure, meaning you're going on dialysis, blindness due to diabetes, some forms of stroke, all these things. They'll give you up to 25% of the death benefit, and that will come to you directly tax-free. Okay? But one of the things that I see here that they're talking about is that, life insurance, whole life insurance is not recommended for those who are young and have lower incomes. I find that to be bullshit. Let me explain to you why. And I'll get to your question here, Coco Tina, in a second. If you are young, right, you don't have a lot of money. And here's what a lot of agents say. Buy a term policy while you're young because it's cheap and you don't have a lot of money. Here's the problem with that. Number one, you're wasting your time. I already showed you what an amortization schedule is, and that a life insurance, cash value life insurance policy is an amortization schedule. But when you're young, you don't have a lot of money, but you know what you do have a hell of a lot of? Expendable income, right? You're living at home with mama and daddy. You ain't got no fucking responsibilities. You ain't got a mortgage. You ain't got student loans. You ain't got rent. You ain't got a car note. You ain't got, child support, right? So you don't have responsibilities. You have expendable income that you could just throw money at a bunch of stuff. So it makes sense while you're younger to get that permanent policy, because it will build cash value. Now, is it an investment? Hell no. But let me tell you the characteristics of 2 products here. and you tell me which one you would prefer. So one product, you can put your money in. It's 100% at the mercy of the market. You can lose all of your principal. You can lose all of your gains, and it's taxable when you start receiving the withdrawals of the funds. The other product is tax deferred. If properly structured and used the right strategy, it will be tax free. There's zero market risk. There's zero chance of losing your principal. And so which one sounds better to you? No, option A or option B?
B.
Now, if I told you option B was life insurance, most people, I don't want that. But option B is the one that keeps you the safest. Now, if you want higher investment or higher gain possibility, yes, you go into an investment. You go into an aggressive investment. But most people who tell you about investments also don't say a couple of words. And I've never heard any of these motherfuckers say these words. And I've been online for a long time. Risk tolerance. Have you ever heard somebody say risk tolerance? I ain't heard none of these motherfuckers say risk tolerance. Okay? Are you familiar with what risk tolerance is?
You asking me?
Yes.
Yeah, how much risk you're willing to take? How much risk would you want to be like a heavy investor, or you want to be a moderate or investor?
So in layman's terms, right? Or the simplest way to break that down is this. If you gave me $10,000, right? And tomorrow I said, hey, I lost all your money. It's zero. Sorry. Are you gonna want to choke the shit out of me? Or you're gonna be like, shit happens. Right? If you're gonna want to choke the shit out of me, then you don't have the risk tolerance to invest. Right? If you're gonna be like, man, shit happens, here's another $10,000, try again, then you have the risk tolerance to invest. It also, they never mention time horizon, right? What is time horizon? And the only reason I'm asking, I know you know this stuff, but it adds validity because I sell this stuff, you don't. So people are more apt to understand and believe and not think I'm just some salty hating ass nigga because I'm thin.
That is. What was it? What you said? What was it?
Time horizon.
Nope, I'm not familiar with that. I don't know what that is.
Okay. So time horizon is when you want to get to this money, right? So what happens is all these investment guys tell you, NVIDIA, QQQ, ABC, Tesla, The problem is they never tell you, well, what is your time horizon? Meaning when you need this money, right? Especially black folks. Oh, I'm invested. I have a whole bunch of folks who, man, I'm so mad with that GameStop investment, right? The problem is, what was your time horizon? When were you actually looking to access that money? Or did you just want to feel good and be like, I'm doing like rich people in investing? Because FYI, the wealthy do not go into the stock market for gains at all. The average rate of return over a regular time horizon, the regular time horizon is 20 years, FYI, right? So if I'm 20, I'm putting this money here. I don't give a fuck what it's doing until I'm 40, right? It's going up and down and up and down. I don't care. Now, when I'm 35, 36, I might start looking at it because I know I'm getting ready to get that money out in a couple years. But all in between there's no reason it should be niggas running around with hard dicks talking about NVIDIA, Tesla. It's because you guys don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Let me tell you this real quick. I was trying to learn stocks, y'all. I told y'all I stay in my lane, and it's for a reason from experience. So I was trying to learn stocks, right? And I was like, what's a stock option?
Mm-hmm.
I know about it from a tax perspective and a capital gains perspective, but I didn't realize the amount of loss that you could have in a split second. So I bought an option. I had no clue what I was doing. I did not know how to trade. One of my friends said, yeah, invest in this, invest in, I forget what it was. I didn't know that you're supposed to sell the stock before it expired. I lost $30,000 in a day.
See?
One day. I said, oh, the hell with this. I'm going to real estate. where it's safe, where it's safe. But on the flip side, I have had a couple of customers, one in particular, young guy, military, invested in Tesla and had $1 million gain.
Mm.
So it can go either way. I'm just not willing to take that. I'm not willing to take that type of risk personally. I'm all right, but that's a lot in a day.
Yeah.
30 grand in a day.
Man.
I need something safe to do.
Exactly. And another thing, so 30 grand is wonderful. I actually want to mention that because you'll hear a lot of people. You already know, JT. So a lot of people will talk about, this investing thing, not even talking about time horizon or risk tolerance or the taxation of it. And I just went blank. I'm sorry, I smoked too much weed. I literally had something on the tip of my tongue, and it says that's what mine told me.
Oh, the 30,000. We were talking about I lost 30,000 in a game.
Yes.
Now, what if I put that in the IUL or something? Just oh my gosh, I feel like I made a mistake.
Again, putting it in an IUL may not have been the best interest for you, and the reason I say that is because it really. So you know what? I'm gonna do it. You don't got me to do it. Hold on. I'm gonna do it. Hold on here. Let me sign in. And I am going to pull up my, oh shit, they done signed me out. Hold on here. Log in. Okay, I'm just gonna create a made up female client. Give me 1 second. Actually, we'll do this one. Showcases. Let's do a new illustration here. I'm going to change the way that I'm sharing my screen. I'm just going to share my whole screen. So another thing, however, is the time horizon of your client, right? Mm-hmm. That $1 million gain is cool, but when did he want to receive that money, right?
Oh, he received it. He received it. But I told that tax return was lovely. It was lovely.
Okay. Now let's assume this is a 41-year-old female. Okay.
Do mine. Because I'm curious to know, seriously.
Okay.
Me.
Okay, give me 1 second. We'll do it like this.
37.
Hold on. Wow, I can't spell today. 37?
Mm-hmm.
What state are you in?
Virginia.
I am licensed in Virginia. Just a FYI.
Come on with it.
Okay. So first, we're going to show you an IUL. Now, I'm going to show you a multitude of options with this IUL because the problem is the way that they are structured. And this is why I don't like a lot of people when they go online talking about IULs because they don't know what the fuck they're doing, right? So first of all, let me show you something here, right? If you'll notice down here, you see where it says allocation?
Put your mouse over it.
Right here.
Yeah, okay, yes, I see it.
Okay. So this is the markets that you're going to be allocating your money to. Either the fixed account, which grows at a 3.8% monthly compound interest rate, or generally most people will go into the S&P 500 1-year point to point, which is currently at a 5.12% interest rate. You could go at the capped S&P 500 2-year point to point, right? You could go at the capped Russell 2000. Are you familiar with the Russell 2000?
No.
So the Russell 2000 is 2,000 of America's small cap companies, just like S&P 500 is the 500 best performing companies. Now, the reason it's capped is because the way that an IUL works, hold on, I'm going to put this on solo really quick. The way that an IUL works is like this. So normally you have something called index funds. Index funds go along with the index. When the index goes up, your money goes up. But because it's an index fund and you are an accredited, or you're, well, you knowing your income are an accredited investor, but most Americans aren't accredited investors. Meaning you had an annual income of 300,000 or more if you're married for the past 3 years. Or you have your net worth is over $1 million, excluding owned residential real estate. So you would probably pass the accredited investor test. First of all, most of these investment guys online don't even talk about that shit. Right? An accredited investor, what the hell is that? I ain't never, and I see a bunch of these folks. Never heard anybody say that. But what happens is, again, the wealth, when you're allocated, so the index fund goes up, your money goes up. The index fund goes down, your money goes down. Now, the problem is this. If you got $100,000 in there and you take a 20% loss, right? Now your money is down to 80,000. The next year you take a 20% gain, you're not back up to 100,000. Because 20% of 80 is less than 20% of 100.
Yep, that makes perfect sense.
Right? So people will say, oh, don't worry about the down years, because the down years you're going to have an up year.
No.
You have to do like triple. So if you get a 20% loss, the next year you have to have a 60% gain in order to break even. Right? They don't tell you this shit. Right? So the way that a IUL works is it's capped. So it has a ceiling. It also has a floor. That floor is 0. Right? Now people are like, well, I don't like 0 floor. And you'll hear a lot of people, oh, why would you do all this for 0 floor? So, and this is again why I don't like IUL agents. Like I said, I'm a licensed financial professional. I don't give a fuck if you want to buy term life, whole life, or IUL. I could sell it all. So I'm going to get my commission. I want to make sure whatever fits you, the client, best. Right? So with an IUL, you have a ceiling and a floor. So let's say the ceiling is 5.12%. So what that means is the S&P 500 rallies to 20%. You are going to be credited 1 year point to point the highest interest of the previous year, right? So let's say you bought the policy 724 last year, right? Whatever that S&P did throughout the year, right? We're going to credit you the highest amount of interest, as long as it's 5.2% or higher, into your account. Now, there's also the fixed account. So the fixed account, if I showed you, it was what, 3.8%. So you can't go under 3.8% unless the market collapses. If the S&P collapses and loses, let's say 20%, you're at a 0 floor. So what that means is the S&P loses money, you just stay where you're at. You don't gain anything because there's nothing to gain. But guess what? Also, you don't do lose. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Now, so because of that, yeah, they cap you because they're like, well, shit, you can't get all the upside and none of the downside. We got to put a little pain in the program. So we're going to cap you in the interest that we give you. Now, let me go a little further, because people don't understand how life insurance builds their cash value. What life insurance companies do is usually they purchase either T-bonds, which are treasury bonds, or GO bonds, which are government obligation bonds, right? And that's how they build your cash value. Now, they also have a general account, because I got some bitch-ass niggas who be following and talk about, you can't say separate account. Technically, it's a general account that they have the additional money. And now that I'm talking securities, I want to be sure that for the security of my license that I'm very careful about my words. You understand?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So in that general account, right, because basically what's happening, for all intents and purposes, an IUL is mirroring whatever index your money is allocated to. Now, I'm going to go back to the screen here, okay? Because, so the Russell 2000 is 2,000 small cap companies. Then you have the Barclays, right? 1 year point to point. Then you have my other favorite, which is the Morgan Stanley International. Most people who sell IULs only talk about the S&P 500. There's another carrier, right, by the name of Lincoln Financial Group. And Lincoln Financial Group actually had Fidelity create an entire separate index that solely is only for the Index Universal Life with Lincoln Financial Group. That happens to be one of the carriers I represent. Says I'm doing moderate investing through my Acorn account. So also, don't be mad that I'm shitting on those Acorn accounts and stuff, but you're not investing in the open market. What you're doing is you're buying your stocks from Acorn. So because you can't buy a fraction of a share, right? If I go to Ruth Chris and I buy their 72-ounce steak, when I come out and I cut a piece of steak and give you a bite of steak for $10, you're not buying the steak from Ruth Chris. You're buying it from me. Just so you know. Again, I'm not going to diminish you using that type of stuff because especially for black folk, we've been locked out of this shit for too long. Okay? So the current assumed interest rate is 5.12%. Now, Candy, you're 37 years old. One thing that I dislike, first thing is I hate the fact that people pay for life insurance for their whole life. That's one blanket statement I will make, is that nobody should pay for life insurance for their whole life, even if it's a whole life insurance policy. You follow me?
Yeah.
Okay. So nobody should pay for whole life insurance for their whole life. So currently FRA is 67 not for us. FRA is probably going to be like 906 for us. FRA is full retirement. I'm also getting a designation called CRC, Certified Retirement Counselor. So what happens is a lot of this stuff, and a lot of people don't learn stuff because they don't go through their continuing education and they don't go through further courses or get other designations. Like I'm probably going to get my WMCP, which is my Wealth Management Certified Professional, because most people in this industry that I talk to, when I talk to them, they're like, Alonzo, you're just an insurance agent? I'm like, yeah. They're like, hell the fuck no. You talk like a money manager. I do talk like a money manager. I'm not a money manager. I just talk like one. Right? Do you use tobacco or no? Vapes don't count.
Oh, well, no. Non-tobacco.
Okay. So now I'm going to change this from face amount to percent of target. Okay? So we're going to put $30,000 annually. Is that cool?
Go click down on the list again on the mode.
Oh, so you can do annually, semi-annually, quarterly, or monthly. I figured $30,000 a year into the policy.
Yeah, do annually.
Okay. So now that's number one. Number two, we're not printing this to age 121, right? You see here, well, first, it says to age 121, right? Now, you see here where I say face amount, and this is how I said I'm going to end up recruiting you. I'm gonna keep plugging away. So what a lot of agents do is they do what's called percent of target. Now I'm going to get into the nitty gritty. We're going to preview this because this is why IULs are very difficult. Actually, I'm going to change that age. We're going to go to 67. So you're only paying into the policy for 30 years, right? Just like you're going to get a 30-year term, you also pay on your whole life for 30 years. Okay. Bear with me. I got a lot of windows open. That's what what's slowing this down. Come on. And I'm based, even though this is here in Connecticut, I'm based out of New York. So New York has a bunch of different rules. So this is that, remember I told you that living benefit? Right?
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So with $30,000 a year, you could get a $4.6 million death benefit. This is a fucking terrible IUL, just so you know. Okay? I just want you to know that. Okay. Oh,
it
also
good to me.
It
looked good to me, but I'm sure you'll tell me why it's not good.
Only reason it looks good is because it's a death benefit. When you're buying an IUL, you don't want to buy death benefits. So what you're buying when you buy cash value life insurance, hold on. Let me tell y'all a secret, right? You're buying a wealth contract. So when you're buying life insurance, you're buying more money. See, if we actually ran around and were able to legally tell you what you're buying with life insurance, nobody would buy investments. Nobody would buy stocks, bonds, or mutual funds. They'd only buy life insurance. You mean to tell me I'm buying more money? Number one, you multiply your money once you put $1 in an insurance policy, right? Even if you save $30,000 a month for 10 years, it wouldn't be $4.6 million.
Right.
Now, there's also something, because motherfuckers talk about this bullshit. What's a feature or benefit that's exclusive to cash value life insurance? You see this? This is called lifetime income rider. Did you know that your life insurance will pay you money for the rest of your life?
I know
So
there's some policies out there that can do it. What's the name of that other? Is another policy that somebody was talking to me about not too long ago.
mm-hmm.
Oh wait, sorry. I think I might have that confused with an immediate annuity. Is it similar?
Yes. An immediate annuity is something that you put money in, and so that's called a single premium immediate annuity, or SPIA. That's very different from a SPIA.
Okay.
Okay. So at age 50, when you have $390,000 of cash value, right, you can trigger what's called your lifetime income. So they will pay you, if you do the level benefit, $1,733 a month till you're 85. And this would be starting at age 50 till you're 85, which would equal $748,000 that they'd pay you. If you live till 100, they're going to pay you $1,060,000. Right? That's if you trigger the lifetime income. Mm-hmm. I generally have my clients do the buy, borrow, die strategy. Now I want to come down here and show you this amortization schedule. And you've bought a few houses, so I'm sure you're familiar with amortization schedules. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, what we need to understand here is there are 3 columns. Let me just check the comments here. All right, he's back. Let me, I just realized I'm not sharing the screen. Hold on. Okay. So this is your cash value accumulation, or this is basically showing everything. So shows here your premium outlay. FYI, wealthy people, we look at things in terms of decades, not days. So I ain't gonna go through year 1 too hard. Mm-hmm. Right? Year 10, you put in $300,000. But as you see here, you've only got $265,000 worth of account value. Guess what? That's because every financial institution and every financial product has to build pain into the program and make sure that you leave your money with them for a certain amount of time so that they can get their interest. But this is the reason that this is a terribly designed IUL. Okay? And number one, the death benefit is way too fucking high. Okay? Now, you'll see here, this is guaranteed policy values. What does that mean? Guaranteed policy values is basically what most Americans would know as FDIC, right? But the reason that you have this is because we have to show that we have reserves and how far, God forbid, this first column right here is if you bought this policy today and then the insurance company started hemorrhaging money and everybody who had a policy with this company died and started putting in a claim today. And they weren't making any money. They weren't just not making money, but they were losing money, right? The alternate scale policy value is for if they're just not making money, but they're not losing money. The non-guaranteed policy values are what is currently happening in today's market and interest rates. So anytime you look at a cash value, or not a cash value, an index universal life insurance cash value illustration, you want to look at the non-guaranteed policy values because that's what's happening today. You want to look at the guaranteed policy values to see how far of a reserve they have for you. This one has a reserve of your cash values until you're 73, and it has a reserve of your death benefit until you're 85. Okay? Now, I also want you to look at this, which says premium outlay. Remember, I said nobody should pay for whole life insurance for their whole life. So I say, okay, you're going to pay for this for 30 years. So you're going to pay $30,000 a year until you're 67. $900,000 out of your pocket. Now at age 67, you have a cash value of $1.494 million, which if I do some math, right? Don't believe me, let's believe the calculator. Shout out to savings minus debt. So 900,000, right? And then minus 1494708. That means that the life insurance company paid you $594,708 to make sure that when you die, your family gets $4.6 million. Is that not what the math says? Right? So 900 minus 1.4 million is negative 594. Right? I didn't do that. That's what the calculator said. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is still a badly designed IUL. Somebody would rip this to shreds because it's terribly designed. So I'm going to show you how you find that out here. So let's talk about commission. Now, I'm at a substantially higher level than 50%, right? But New York State requires you as a fiduciary to tell people the commission. I'm at, depending on the policy, at 90%, right? So I get like $28,000 off of this, right? But this here is something called the target premium, right? So this target premium is what I would get paid off of. This is a terrible thing for you. This is not a good policy for you. This does not benefit you. I need to take a haircut on this payment, on this target premium, in order for it to be a little more beneficial to you. Okay? So I'm going to click one button, right? So we're going to go minimum non-MIP, which is a minimum non-modified endowment contract. So we're getting the minimum amount of death benefit for the most amount of dollars. So you're going to overpay for this death benefit, but life insurance, when you're buying an IUL, is about accumulation, not death benefit. Mm-hmm. Okay? So give me a second while this loads up. Let me just check the chat here. Hey, what do you think I should use so I can invest what I want? Because I want to put more money in Webull. Cool as well. Yeah, again, we got to have a full consult. That's what mine told me. If I'm young and I do not have a lot of money, I do pay rent to a friend. I'm 41. Yeah, so don't put too much of your personal information out there, Rolando. Unless you don't mind, but you know, you want to be very careful. A lot of agents will tell you that because it's also easy to qualify for a lot of these, right? A life insurance policy illustration, statement of policy costs and benefit information, right? So if you'll notice here, Candy, that death benefit is substantially lower, right? Here, that death benefit is $4.6 million. I clicked the button, same $30,000. Nothing else did I change, but your death benefit is $2.1 million. Let's go down here. Now, here, if we look on this particular illustration, right, with the $4 million death benefit, you'll notice year one, your net account value is only $21,000. You'll notice here your net account value is $25,000. Mm-hmm. Right? Now, you'll notice here that at the end of 10 years, you put $300,000 into the policy, and at the end of 10 years, you have $325,000 of an account value. Mm-hmm. Right? So that's what you have to borrow against. Your cash value is your surrender value, meaning if you cancel the policy, basically you only paid the company $1,000. Right? That looks a hell of a lot better than I paid $300,000 and now I only got access to $265, and if I cancel, I get $211, right? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna make this policy even better. Now, when I go here, look at that. Now my commission, like I said, I'm gonna just use 50% because it's easier. I'm not good at math, right? So in this scenario, I get 50% of 30,000. My check is 15 grand. In this scenario, I get 50% of $14,151.93. Mm-hmm. Because this policy is set up to benefit you more. You see how with the click of a button, and this is why I say a lot of IUL agents don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Mm-hmm. They're in it for the commission instead of the education and doing what's right for the consumer.
But the problem is that most agents, right? They're selling IULs to people who ain't putting 20, 30, 40, $100,000 into a policy, right? These are built for people like you who was like, hey, I want to put $30,000 a year into a policy. Okay. Now, if you were to be putting more than 30 grand into the policy, I'm going to show you at 30 grand. But as an agent, you know, we also like to make it a little bit beneficial for ourselves. So I click one more button. I'm going to show you how we supercharge your policy. You ready for this? Okay. Let this load up. So now one click of a button, everything else looks exactly the fucking same. As you see, I didn't change your name, date of birth. Now this one, why? Whoa, that's a substantially lower death benefit, 778,000, right? This one is 2 million, and this one is 4 million. Well, what the hell did I do, right? I made this policy hella beneficial for you. But let's go down to the numbers, right? We like the dollars and cents. So now in this one, right, at the end of 10 years, excuse me, in the $2 million death benefit, at the end of 10 years, you got $325,000 worth of account value. In this one, at the end of 10 years, you have $358,000 worth of cash value. You want an extra $23,000?
Maybe.
Right? Now, also, notice here, your contract is for a $778,000 death benefit. But you see this number I have highlighted here? That 1.136 million? That's your death benefit at year 10. Why is your death benefit up? Because, you know, a lot of these buy term invest the difference people say, well, the insurance company, they keep your either you get the cash value or the death benefit. What if you could get both? If you die, your family gets both. If you live, you can use the, you know, the cash value. But if you die, why can't your family get both? That's the scenario I just put you in here. Now, in this one, again, this is why I say it would have to be a substantially larger amount than $30,000, because here the target premium is $5,012.40. So I would get what, $2,500. So you see why agents don't like IULs or don't set them up properly? Because I went from getting a $15,000 check to getting a $2,500 check. Right? So now, but this is hella beneficial for you, because at the point you put 600 grand in there, you've got $984,000 of basically liquid cash available to you, right? So you got $900,000. After 30 years, you put 900 grand in there, you've got $2 million of cash value. Oh, wait, let's say you keep living, right? And you keep going. Remember, you're only paying into this policy for 30 years. So at year 30, 68, it's still growing. Your cash value went from $2,041,000 to $2.1 million. Your death benefit went from $2.8 million to $2.9 million. Now you're 77. Your cash value is $3.4 million. Your death benefit is $4.2 million. So here's where people use something called BBD, buy, borrow, die strategy. So this is where it's tax efficient and you pay zero in taxes. So you put all this money in here after taxes. This is what they call the rich man's Roth. Okay, you've heard of the backdoor Roth. I find that to be the fucking stupidest thing ever. Why would I do that when I could just put it in an IUL? And since I'm a rich man, I can actually afford to do this type of shit. Use this in the buy, borrow, die strategy. So now I just start borrowing from it with no intent of paying back the loan. And then when I die, my death benefit has collateralized. So if I borrow $2 million over 20 years and then die, so my death benefit is $4 million now. So my family would only get $2 million. But I only paid for $700,000. So, You think my family's gonna be? They ain't even know they were supposed to get 4 million. They thought they were supposed to get 700,000. So when they get 2 million, you think your family gonna be mad?
Nope.
They gonna be like, we was only supposed to get shut up, just take the money. They fucked up. Right? That's how that would work. So that's a little bit about how an IUL will work. Again, in even your situation, right, where you're putting 30,000 into a policy. Like I said, as your agent, I would probably do this one because I'd like to make some money too, right? But if you're putting 100, 200 grand in there, obviously you do option B, and it's only going to grow more. And the thing is, we set it up so it's not a 7-pay, so it never turns into a modified endowment contract. Now, what you were speaking of was annuities, right? Let's say, now, just FYI, these are some of the products that I'm legally licensed to sell: a traditional IRA, a money purchase, an HR10 Keogh plan, an SEP IRA, a simple IRA, a 403B or a thrift savings account, a Roth IRA, a 457 government plan, a defined benefit plan, profit sharing, and a 401k. Those are qualified, or, as Candy will tell you, tax deferred, right? Or you could do a non-qualified, meaning that it's after tax dollars. You've already paid taxes. I'm not explaining this to you. I know you already know this. I'm explaining it to the audience. Let me just see. Oh no, don't feel bad, bro. I just don't want you to. I don't want you to have all your information out there like that, bro. People on the internet are weird, so I don't want them. Oh, this guy's got this. This shit's weird. So those are a couple of different strategies that go into a properly structured IUL, right? Now, when you're looking at term insurance, here's one thing that I always send my clients to: lifehappens.org, right? And I tell people, listen, go to the calculator, go to the human life value calculator, put in some info, put in the numbers, 77,000, 15,000, right? 22 years until retirement. Let's say $250,000 worth of life insurance. Let's say we got $1.1 million in other assets, right? And then we click next. So it still says that person would need another $500,000 of death benefit, right? Again, these are arbitrary numbers that I just randomly typed in there. But it says the human life value is $1.9 million minus the $1.3 million worth of assets. There's still, God forbid, I died yesterday, my family would be $500,000 underwater, right? So I go to lifehappens.org because this is a not-for-profit organization. They don't sell insurance. I do. I stand to make money off of it. So I tell my clients, listen, I stand to make a commission off of this. Don't believe me? Go to Life Happens, put in your numbers yourself. You can download and email this to yourself or email it to me. Then when I come to you with a recommendation, it makes sense. Because people say buy term, invest the rest, and then they'll have you buy $100,000 death benefit. What the fuck is that going to do for your family? Right? So those are a couple of things there. I'm going to close these out. Right? But if we look at annuities, right? So you might have a SPIA or an income 7. Right? So an income 7 is a deferred annuity where you pay money into it over time, so on and so forth. Right? Or you can get a qualified product, which would be a traditional IRA, a SEP, a simple IRA, or a Roth, right? But those would be in a accumulation annuity, right? If you're doing a SPIA and you got qualified programs, these are all the things that I can do. Right? And that's because of my licensure. Right? And all you really need to sell most of those products is just a life insurance license. Right? This is why I say that buy term, invest the rest is bullshit with Primerica. Hold on, let me bring us back up. And the reason I said that is because again, number one, 99% of term policies don't pay out because of lapse, right? Not even because people outlive the policy, but because there's nothing to keep the policy alive. So if you miss a premium payment, They don't give you a 30-day grace period. Your money ain't here. Cancel that policy.
Yeah.
Right in there. That day. Right? At least with a permanent policy that builds some cash value, once you have some cash value in it, the policy will self-cannibalize. So, hey, listen, my premium is $100 a month. I got, $2,000 worth of cash value. That's, 10 months worth of premium. So basically for a year, I don't have to pay my policy.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't gonna build cash value because it's eating the cash value. But at least if I die, my family gets a death benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Black people buy term insurance all the wrong way, right? I've gone to Google, right? I asked Google, how long is a generation? Google will tell you between 20 and 30 years. Go to Google. Ask Google what's the average salary of an American, $50,000. Go to your calculator. Put 50,000 times 20. The average American needs $1 million worth of life insurance protection, death benefit protection, right? So, Candy, you're a real estate investor.
I was just about to say it. That's if they don't have any property or anything. If they don't have any assets, that's probably still not enough. It's probably not enough.
Oh, if you have assets, you need substantially more. Mm-hmm. Right? Like you said, yeah, that's if they ain't got nothing. If they ain't got nothing and all they got is a 50,000, then yeah. But like I said, you're a real estate investor. Folks who got some real estate, boom. He says, I'm gonna need a consultation. No. And like I said, it's not that it's too much information. I just don't want people to know about you, Rolando. Right? I want you to make sure that your information is protected. I don't want motherfuckers doing some weird shit online. We don't know what people are weird. I just don't want people coming to fuck with you. Right? I like to protect my clientele. A bunch of people who are on right now, actually, I don't think anybody who's on right now is my current client, but I have people who they go around. I'm like, damn, bro, why don't you get your license? You're selling it for me. I have people who on this YouTube channel, well, yo, y'all need to go sit with Alonzo. Shout out to Sheed. Shout out to Malika. Shout out to Rael. Shout out to Marty McFly. Right? Those are guys who are on YouTube who they talk about me. Mm-hmm. Because just like Candy, we give a fuck about our clients. Right? But one thing I was going to say is, Candy, so you're a real estate investor. Mm-hmm. Right? Watch this. Right? Can you buy a house using life insurance? You ever heard of a collateral assignment?
I have heard of it.
Okay. Now, let me see if I can find this right quick. Oh, shit. They done logged me out. Hold on, y'all. I'm giving too much game. They was like, nope, you giving too much game. I'm going to close this illustration. Right? Now let's watch this. Right? Only reason I know this is because I have a client right now. Oh, shit. I spelled the word wrong. I have a client right now who is buying a property in Panama. Mm-hmm. Using this strategy. So what I did, he was like, yo, I'm trying to buy this house in Panama and I don't know how to do it. So I says, listen, you have a life insurance policy, but he also has an annuity with $750,000 in it. So he literally has 200,000 to just drop on the property, but he's earning, I think, 9.7% on his annuity, right? Because the annuity rates. So here's the thing. When mortgage rates were going up and everybody was mad, I was like, yes, go up. Because my clients who invest with me in their annuities, the annuity rates follow the prime rate, which follows mortgage rates and annuity rates follow the prime rate. The prime rate changes at Wednesday, every Wednesday at 12. Well, if it changes every Wednesday at 12. It rarely changes over the last few years. But when that prime rate and everything goes up, my folks happy because they're getting more interest in their annuities. Right? So he wanted to buy a property in Panama for $200,000. I said, take out a loan. But and fucking you're getting so much interest over here. Don't pull it out of this. Just like if investments, they tell you that's why, you know, with real estate, you get hard money or you get a loan because you can make more money with your money earning interest and pay less interest to the bank. That's why people was like, how the fuck did we get scammed by DJ Envy and Cesar Pena? Because if they can get you, I'm going to get you 20% in 3 months. Why the fuck would I go to a random broke dude in the hood and have to get 900 niggas when I could go to the bank and be like, yeah, I know I'm going to get 20% in 6 months and they're going to give me 3 years to pay back this loan. So I'll pay it back in 1 year and just soak up all the money. You would bring it to millionaires and billionaires. You wouldn't bring that type of shit to the general public. Right? Now, yes, I'm bringing these IULs to the general public, but I'm saying, listen, most motherfuckers can't afford it. Rule of thumb, when you're buying permanent life insurance, if you're buying it for accumulation, the minimum you should spend, your age plus a 0. So if you're 25 and you're buying cash value life insurance, $250 a month. Rule of thumb. The reason we say your age plus a 0 is because that it has enough in there to cover what's called the cost of insurance and to actually give you some accumulation availability. So here is a document. Hold on, let me share my screen again. So this document is called a collateral assignment or release of policy. So as you see here, policy number 12345, name of insured or annuitant, because you can actually put your annuity there. So what you're doing here when you do a collateral assignment is you are assigning the death benefit. You are borrowing against your life insurance, not from your life insurance. And too many people, especially when it comes to my community, get taught to borrow from our life insurance as opposed to against our life insurance, right? So if you have $100,000 of cash value, cool. Don't borrow from that. Go borrow against that $1 million death benefit. Walk into Chase Bank with your life insurance policy and this collateral assignment release of policy and say, hey, Chase Bank, this, that, and the third. These motherfuckers are not going to, they're going to act like they don't know what you're talking about unless you belong to Chase Private Client, right? They're going to act like they don't know what you're talking about, right? But this is something that you can actually do, and you're assigning your policy, the death benefit, and the cash value to that bank. So the bank, now you still have to go through the regular form of qualifying for a mortgage or a loan or what have you. But did you know that the SBA, in order to get a SBA loan, requires you to have a collateral assignment? So that's probably where you've heard it from.
Yeah.
When you this to buy a car. Oh, sorry.
I went through a loan officer training as well. So that if you have any cash value life insurance policies, because it can be used to purchase a house, just like you said.
You know, I had a black man who I tried to talk this about with, and he was like, no, you can't. Why would a bank want the cash value life insurance versus the property? Number one, nigga, because the bank can't own property, and they'd rather their money than to have to fucking foreclose, which can take years, and then to have to go through a short sale, which means that they're losing money. The fuck? I just realized that he didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. Because you just said it. Oh yeah, I went through a loan originator class and they said you could use cash value life insurance. I forgot. You, like you said, yeah, I ain't letting you get over.
It's asset, is money. It's money.
It's money, right? So he was really trying. He was like, no, that doesn't make any sense. Nobody's doing that. So just because they don't know. Right? So I canceled the webinar with him because my principal they're not as knowledgeable as me. And my principal has been doing this for longer than me. But they're not as knowledgeable as me. Our broker dealer is Mass Mutual. That's where we put our investment products. But, I realized, oh, shit, these niggas don't know. And it's harmful to the community, right? So Yeah, I just shit. So yeah, that makes total sense to you. In the mortgage loan originator course, they say that you can use cash value life insurance.
They ask for all of your assets. It is money. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
absolutely.
Holy smokes. I didn't even know that. So then that mortgage guy, he just didn't feel comfortable talking about it because he never
Well,
been.
maybe it's not his lane, right? You know what I mean? So everybody have their expert, and a lot of people think just because they've never heard of something before is not true. And I said this yesterday. I said the saying is true. If you want to keep something away from you know what, put it
Mm-hmm.
put it in a book. You know,
Mm,
and so some things we don't know because we don't seek the knowledge all the time. You know what I
mm,
mean? Or we rely on other people or hearsay, and instead of doing our own research, we
absolutely.
count ourselves out. And I tell people all the time, I feel like I feel like most of us, we should be wealthy. We should be able to grow mass amounts of wealth.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy to me, like, why all of my brothers and sisters are not rich. We are the kings and queens. We
Mm-hmm.
are.
Exactly.
We should have not maybe not rich, but wealth, and at
Wealthy.
least bare minimum living the type of lifestyle that we want to live.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can't do it for ourselves, we should at least be doing it for our children, our grandchildren, our great grandchildren.
Exactly. And fellas, a lot of that lies on us. And that's not just me saying that. That's according to Brookings Institute. Right? If I pull up my Google Drive and pull up my debate and click on that link, Brookings Institute basically said black men are broke because black men are broke and making other black men broke.
Mm-hmm.
Because you do shit like say, I'll give you an example. I got a homeboy, God rest the dead, just died earlier this year. You know what he did for his whole life? Is street pharmacist. Right? I said, yo, son, listen, you should get some life insurance, man. You got them two beautiful daughters. Man, I'm getting this chicken. Nigga, I ain't worried about that. Yeah, 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 yeah. All right, cool. Something happened. One of his homies got shot. Oh, hey, let me talk to you about that there life insurance. Cool. Sign up. Hey, bro, I need you to sign this shit so you can make sure that, I ain't worried about that right now. I'm about to go to the studio. I'm about to get this real bread. I'm investing in Snoop Dogg Smackaho coin. All right. Couple months later, blah, blah, blah. I see on Facebook his brother, yo, stop asking me questions. I don't want to hear about it no more. What happened? So-and-so got killed. Rest in peace. Damn. Y'all paying for his funeral? Yeah. Hate to say I told you so, but I told you so, bro. What about them beautiful baby girls you just left? Because you was telling me all this bullshit about, oh, yeah, I'm going to make it happen. I'm out here doing this. Yeah, son, this is why I'm out here on this corner. And then you wonder why black women are looking at us like, the fuck? My niece is going through that right now. And her homeboy, she's like, damn, y'all black men are selfish as shit. Her daddy is busy trying to fuck some girl who's 25 years old. You know how old my niece is? 24. You know what my niece said? I'm not going through what my homeboy went through right now because in the last 4 years, he lost his mother, his father, his older brother, and his baby's mother. None of them had life insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Right? She said, yo, he's going through it. I can't go through that. Can I get a life insurance policy on my dad? Sure can, as long as you have his consent. I've been calling him, yo, bro, yo, bro, yo, bro. Your daughter's looking to pay out of her own pocket for this life insurance policy. All you have to do is sign the paperwork. Humana, humana, humana. I'm chasing after this girl who's as old as my daughter. So
It's
then she's like,
embarrassing. It's embarrassing. That's what I tell people when you sit back and look at the grand scheme of things. It's people like you and I who see it from a helicopter's viewpoint, And even though we are in it with our people, I can honestly say that some of the things that we say and do is embarrassing to our culture. See, a lot of people are afraid to say it. But when you're talking to someone I have seen people blow through $1 million.
mm-hmm,
And especially, people who might be living an alternative lifestyle. They may be living in the street. How do you leave this earth with nothing?
Mm-hmm.
They don't think about their retirement. How long do you plan on living that lifestyle? You don't have any money in Social Security.
Mm-mm.
If you qualify for SSDI, what are you looking at? Maybe $1,000 a month. That's not enough to live off of in your 60s or 70s, unless you plan on being on Section 8, getting food stamps. If you can qualify for food stamps because you make $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
So these are choices, right? And a lot of people might say, oh, I can't afford it. First of all, life insurance is a touchy subject. Nobody really wants to talk about death, right? Most people try to avoid that conversation because they feel like, oh, if I talk about life insurance, I'm gonna die tomorrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can happen anyway. It can happen anytime, any minute. Nothing is promised. And I personally think it's the most selfish thing you can do than to leave this earth and not leave anything to the people you claim you love. The people that you brought into this world. Why do you want them to struggle? Because you struggle? Do
Mm-hmm.
what you got to do. What's $100 a month, $200 a month, $300 a month? What is that? That is you sacrificing McDonald's. That's what that is.
Mm-hmm.
And pay your premiums. Pay your premiums on time. Do not let your life insurance lapse.
Mm-mm.
Don't let
At
it lapse.
all.
So yeah, we have some work to do, but it's like I said, it's people like you and I who are able to reach the masses. And I promise y'all, it's not an income thing, because I promise you there are some very wealthy people who are not highly intelligent. There are some wealthy people, I promise you this, y'all. Yeah, the type of work that I deal with people all the time. To become a millionaire is really not that difficult. You could take some money you made cutting grass, right? I'm using that as an example. You take some of the income you earn from cutting grass, you go flip a property, maybe two a year, and you're a millionaire at that point. You know what I mean? Or maybe not at that point. You got to do it a couple times. But the
Yeah.
point that I'm trying to say is that it can be done. It can be done. And invest in your future. You are going to want to retire one day. You're not going to want to work all your life. Well, maybe some people do. Some people make them feel young, right?
Yeah.
Getting up every day, going to work or whatever. I know when I'm in my 70s, I'm trying to relax. I'm gonna be on the beach twerking somewhere. I ain't even grandkids. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be stressed out into my 70s or 80s having to get up past stickers out at Walmart.
Mm.
It's not even a sacrifice. When I can invest in myself now and reap the benefits later. You want to be the wealthy person in the family. You want to be the person that leaves something so that when you hit the ground, nobody talking trash about you. Oh, they made all this money and they ain't had no life insurance.
Mm-hmm. And they couldn't bury themselves.
Yeah, they can't put themselves in the ground. And at bare minimum, this is what I used to tell people too. At bare minimum, if you got it like that, you feel like you don't need life insurance, go to your funeral home, go to your family funeral home where they do all your family funerals, and go ahead and pay for your funeral. Because you can prepay for funerals.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and pay for it.
There's actually a game with that too. My uncle died a number of years ago. He had prepaid for his funeral. But see, what we don't think about is inflation. So when he had finished paying for it, it took him like another 15 years to die. They was like, oh, shit don't cost the same. Y'all owe us some more money. It was like, we ain't burying him until y'all pay us the rest of our money. But we prepaid. Yeah, y'all prepaid for if he would have died in like 2 years. So this 15 years later, listen, yesterday's price was not today's price. So you got to pay some more. We had to pay like another, it wasn't a lot. It was like another $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
But that was an unexpected $3,000.
Life insurance is to be used. You can use it for your benefit while you're living.
Mm-hmm.
And some people think, well, I'm not gonna be here no more. What difference do it make? I think it's selfish. I look at my children, I look at the things that I have seen, and I know that money makes the world go round. They say happiness and love and all this other stuff. I tell you one thing, you need money to survive. You need money to be comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You need money, right?
Period.
We didn't make it this way. It's not our fault that it's like this, but the fact of the matter is that it is. So we need to be good stewards over our finances. We need to make wise decisions so that
Mm.
we can get ahead, and so that we don't have as much stereotype.
Yes. Oh, I'm letting you cook, sis. You was
Oh,
cooking.
oh yeah, I'm just speaking the truth, man. Because somebody got to say it. Some people get on there, they try to act all bougie and sedity. They make it
Mhm.
seem like everything is all good, and it's really not. We have so much work to do as a culture, y'all. Start planning for your future now. You don't want to be 50, 60 years old, trying to catch up. It's heart wrenching talking to people saying, "Oh man, I just had my first granddaughter and I want to leave her something. Can I get a $10,000 policy? What can
Mm.
I do with 10,000? What can I do with five? Five. Can I get a little something because I want to leave something? $5,000. That's a Shein cart nowadays.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
And you
saying?
know what's worse? And I hear this all the time from our people, right? And so I lived in two of the three most expensive states in the country. And I currently live in one of those states, right? I used
Mhm.
to live in New York City, the third most expensive state in the country. And now I live in Connecticut, the second most expensive state in the country, right? The most expensive state in the country is Massachusetts, right? The average income you need to live comfortably in Massachusetts is $309,000. The average
Mm.
income you need to live comfortably in Connecticut is $289,000, and the average income you need to live comfortably in New York City is $279,000.
Mm.
So, and I did a study from Brookings Institute. The median income of a black man is $24,500.
Mm.
Fuck are we doing, fellas? Cause see, I'm blaming the men because we supposed to be the HNIC. We supposed to be out there busting ass, and I hear so many of these brothers. I'm getting it. 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 You getting what? Fucked in the ass in jail by the Mexican gangs? Oh, hold up, wait. Now I got to show you something else. I know I showed you that article, right? Let's do this, right? Because the biggest gang is the Mexican. Actually, it's 18th Street, not the Mexican Mafia. So it's 18th Street, followed by MS-13, followed by NF-14. I used to be a gangbanger, Gangster Disciples, King Larry Hoover up in this bitch. And King Larry Hoover used to say to black men, I'd rather walk down the street in a suit and tie with a briefcase than fucking jeans and a strap. But y'all bitch ass niggas ain't following King Hoover. Y'all niggas ain't really growth and development.
Mm-hmm.
This shit's on my body, cuz. Right? I'm sorry. I got emotional there.
Yeah, we that's why we got a lot of work to do as a culture, man. I feel like if we band together, you know what I'm saying, and
Yeah.
especially in a judgment free zone, like just all we listen. It's so many opportunities out here. You just because you come from a particular lifestyle or particular background. See, and I didn't share this story, but I'm gonna share it with y'all real quick, and then I gotta
Mhm.
go.
No
My
problem.
grandma, she was on crack during the crack epidemic, the 80s and the 90s, right?
I just
We
put you on
still
solo. Don't worry.
we still live?
Yeah, we still are.
Okay. My grandma, drugs. All right. My mama grew up in the projects. She grew up having a fight. Just, how it was back then. My mom saw my grandma and she decided to join the army. My mama grew up fighting, grew up in the projects and all that stuff. My mom said she wanted a different life for her children. Now my mother is a doctor. And listen, you don't have to go formal education. right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't have a degree. I don't have a degree. Not to say that I'm proud of it, right? But I'm not a degree individual. And I can assure you, I have outpaced financially most people that I know personally in my personal life. First millionaire in my family. I don't have a college degree. Most wealthy people, street people from the street. My concern is are they gonna have that money to last them until they leave this earth? What did they, I mean, are they hoarding all the money, keeping cash in a mattress? Quite sure. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
We gotta
It gotta
change
be
the narrative. We gotta change the narrative. We need to show people on paper, hey, we are really the kings and queens. This is
something.
what we're doing. I'm not out here in the streets. I'm flipping houses. I'm a car salesman, whatever business, whatever opportunity. Hey, I'm selling life insurance. I'm a life insurance agent. I'm educating people. I got my license, my financial advisor license. I'm trying to change the community. And you can do it and make a hell of a commission having conversations with people, everyday conversations with people.
Mm-hmm.
We got
Absolutely.
we got to be the change that we want to see.
Absolutely. All right. I'm gonna get ready to end this. Let me just show you this one thing,
Hmm.
and then we'll go ahead and end this because I saw that you said you had to go. So
Okay.
this is from the state. This is the Department of State, right? So
Hmm.
remember, all of y'all fellas in the black community, we want to be fucking El Chapo. That's why I call y'all niggas fail Chapo, right? Like I said, I know niggas been selling cocaine since I was 16. I'm 40 years old. These niggas might have sold a kilo. I was I was chilling with my homies the other day here in New Haven. My boy was like, "Yo, you heard they caught this nigga with a quarter key? What the fuck? A quarter key?" BMPE, Life Insurance Undercover Operation and International Cooperation. This is from the government. Operation Capstone exposed a sophisticated criminal scheme that targeted life insurance companies, where $80 million of Colombian drug proceeds had been laundered over the past few years. How many years? 2. This 2-year multinational investigation involving ICE, the Isle of Man Custom, and Colombian DAS revealed that Colombian drug traffickers, through a small number of insurance brokers, were purchasing investment-grade life insurance policies, aka IULs, because an IUL is an investment-grade life insurance policy,
Mm.
with cartel associates as the beneficiaries. These policies were funded with tens of millions of dollars of drug proceeds, right? Um, when a company receives payments from a product or service from wire transfers, we have no connection to the transfer. It's a clear signal that money laundering is happening. Once an investment-grade life insurance policy is created, customers can overfund the policy beyond its face value. Like I showed you that one at 778 where you were overpaying into it, right? Where I said instead of getting, $15,000 or $30,000 commission, I'd get a $2,500 commission. That's
Hmm.
what these people were doing, right? As of December, ICE agents seized approximately 9.5 million from one, indicted 5 Colombian nationals. Now we hear about YSL, right? YSL was 28 black men with $1 million. That's $35,000 a fucking head. Do you know one man in this drug bust got indicted for moving 26? I'm sorry, for moving what was it, 13 tons of cocaine a week, which is 26,000 kilos per week. So the next time I hear any niggas talking about that dumb shit, right? Because the cartels could then use the clean funds, right? So here's what happened. Operation Capstone, that they were liquidating the drug finance life insurance policies after relatively short periods of time. Despite paying stiff financial penalties for early liquidation, the cartel beneficiaries would receive a check or wire transfer from the insurance company that on its surface appeared to be legitimate insurance investment proceeds. The cartels could then use these clean funds virtually unquestioned. Hey, Wanda, how you doing? Glad to see you. Do I have you with a wrench, Wanda? You don't have a wrench? Hold on, let me get you a wrench over here. I thought I make one more comment, Wanda, so I can give you a wrench. Right? But meanwhile, in the hood, how many brothers do we know ain't nearly doing this? Ain't nothing wrong with doing it, but if you're gonna do it like you're doing it for TV, homie. If you're gonna call yourself the hood El Chapo, do what El Chapo did, and that was not just sell the drugs. Right? So, ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy, the insurance junkie, your fiduciary. Why is this not letting me give her a wrench? Here we go. Add as moderator. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy, the insurance junkie, your fiduciary fella, the all-star advisor Alonzo Hall, your social media insurance broker, and I just whapped and tapped on your head with another ADH wealth solution. Make sure, ladies and gentlemen, that you go and you follow my girl Candy, right? Because she got hella fine information. And we both are making sure that we are making an impact on our community. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, share, share, share. Lastly, to contribute to channel growth or to schedule an appointment with a licensed financial professional, the links are in the description of this video. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, wipe ass, work in progress, every day and see success. Wipe ass, work in progress, every day and see success. Wipe ass, work in progress every day and see success. And remember, folks, when people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you, but they challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge. Salute.